Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, children of all ages, welcome to our Sports Show. From the independent scene to the main event of WrestleMania. Alright, TNA against odds. Last night on pay-per-view, it was on, I do believe, TNA Plus and also Fight TV. So the Countdown show had two matches. We saw Jonathan Gresham taking on Sami Callihan. Now, I don't necessarily, you know what, fuck it. I hate what they're doing with Jonathan Gresham. This whole fucking octopus thing where he spits up this black tar that's making people sick. It's getting ridiculous. I mean, apparently the Kushida from the last Premium Live event was sick and he was out of action. The referees have gotten sick, so the referees have to wear gloves and a mask when they come to the ring. It's just, yeah, it's kind of stupid. He's one of the greatest technical wrestlers in pro wrestling, and we're doing this stupid gimmick with him. Overall, this match was just really, they fight on the outside more than anything. I mean, they literally had a match on the outside. At one point, Gresham gets under the ring. Callihan reaches through, so you've seen the side of the ring where there's like a metal bar, and there's metal bars that go up, there's like a gap there. He had his arm in that gap, and Gresham is hitting it with a chair. You can see the top of the chair come out. They get into the match finally. Less than 2 minutes into the match, they end up, Gresham rips the mask off the referee and throws it away. The referee puts it back on. Then you had Kushida come out, and before Gresham would spit the black tar onto Sami Callihan, Kushida comes out and sticks like a white napkin in his mouth. Had a little vial. He's putting the black substance into that vial. So we're gonna find out what truly it is and why it's making people sick, I guess. But it's just like, oh, we're just so ruining Jonathan Gresham here. But yeah, Sami Callihan ended up being the victor. I gave it 2 1/4. I kind of rated the first part before the match started as part of the match, and that kind of fight on the outside and fighting to the crowd kind of deal. I kind of added that all in with a little bit of the match, where I got my 2 1/4 from, and Sami Callihan getting the victory. Next up, we had a TNA Knockout World Tag Titles on the line. We had champion the Malisha, Malisha Edwards, and Masha Slamovich. Masha was tag team champion with Killer Kelly. They lost it. Masha and Alisha had been #1 contender for the women's knockout tag titles. Didn't have a partner, so they ended up getting together. This is the first title defense, going against the Hex, Allysin and Marti Belle, two NWA wrestlers who have both wrestled for TNA before. We go out and have this pre-show match, 8-minute match. Some of the greatest women talent, 3/4 of this match was Tier 1 women's talent. Masha Slamovich, Allysin, Marti Belle. Yeah, we have a kind of a crappy little ending with Alisha Edwards and Masha Slamovich winning. Kind of a wonky end to it. I ended up giving it 3-star. It was okay. Nothing spectacular, but could have been a lot better if it had given more time. Alright, when the regular show began, we began with the who's going to answer the open challenge by Jordynne Grace. That was kind of the hush-hush of all what's going to happen there. First match, we had Mike Santana, who returned at what was the last show, monthly show by TNA. All these monthly shows have been running together lately. Because they do these monthly shows, and they run them as premium live events, obviously, because they're part of the streaming. But then they have their big 4 pay-per-views a year. And so it's like, I don't know, they're kind of doing a hybrid of what AEW does and WWE does. They have the premium live event, but yet they're not the big 4 $50 pay-per-views. So at Under Siege was the last one, and Sacrifice was the one before that. Rebellion was the last big pay-per-view. Slammiversary is the next big pay-per-view. So then we'll have Bound for Glory in October. August and September is Emergence and Victory Road. The TNA Plus exclusive to call, which they're not exclusive, they're on Fight TV or Thriller TV as well. They are part of the $9.99 a month for TNA Plus, you have to do the championship subscription, which is $219 a year. They don't have a monthly option for that. So I just buy the big pay-per-views on Thriller TV and just use this for the small stuff, which is against all odds or monthly pay-per-view here. So Under Siege, we had Mike Santana return to TNA, formerly part of LAX when he was here before with Ortiz. Left for bigger and better things, part of AEW for a short time, and now he is back. He actually fought Steve Maclin then, but now they're teaming up, kind of a one-time only, because Maclin was having a problem with the Rascalz. Mike Santana started having a problem with the Rascalz. So the enemy of my enemy is my friend. So for both enemies of Rascalz turn friends, Mike Santana and Steve Maclin take on the Rascalz. Good match, good hard-hitting match. We get the Rascalz doing all the stuff they do when it comes to top rope and the dives and whatnot. The power and hard-hitting of Mike Santana and Steve Maclin worked well together as a team. Ended up giving this match 3.5 stars, with Mike Santana and Steve Maclin getting the victory there. We will see if this continues or if this is a one night only for Mike Santana and Steve Maclin. Next up, we had AJ Francis, who is part of, or is the TNA digital media champion, teaming with his tag team partner Rich Swann, First Class as they call themselves. They challenged PCO to a match with Rich Swann. AJ Francis comes out there in Chicago, mind you, wearing a Scottie Pippen jersey and talking about how MJ wasn't as good as he was if it wasn't for Scottie Pippen, because he didn't win until Pippen got there. Like, oh my God, he's just trying to piss off people. I love it. Then the PCO comes out. They have to shock him to get him to come out. He's like dead, and they gotta wake him up. It's a cool PCO gimmick. Pierre, what's his name, or what was his name? I mean, the dude's old as hell now. It was Pierre Carl Ouellet from back in the day. He was part of tag team in WWE. Let's see if I can find it. I don't remember the name of it now. Let's see here. This dude is he's 56 years old, and the stuff that he does, I almost want to say a PCO Sting match. God. The Quebecers in 1994 with WCW, or with WWF, and then 96, 97, the Amazing French Canadians in WCW. So yeah, he's been around that long. He showed up in TNA the first time in 2005. He's been kind of here, there, and everywhere. Part of the Indies, part of Ring of Honor for a while. Finally came to TNA. Just the whole PCO gimmick. Perfect Creation 1, I think, is what Scott D'Amore said his name was. But Pierre Carl Ouellet is what his wrestling name has always been. The Perfect Creation 1 is what they kind of changed it to, but yeah, this guy can still kind of, his character is unique. It's not The Undertaker by no means, but it's kind of that special character where he was Ring of Honor champion for a while. And taking on Rich Swann, of course AJ Francis on the outside, getting involved. Francis ended up helping Rich Swann more than once. So the referee would be talking to Rich Swann, and AJ Francis would just pull PCO's leg out, and he fell on the side of the ring, and setting up a match obviously against AJ Francis and PCO. My guess is for the Digital Media Championship. This match, I ended up giving it 2 stars. It lasted 5 minutes and 50 seconds. Next up, we had for the TNA World Tag Team titles, first time ever, Nick Nemeth, Ryan Nemeth teaming up for the tag team titles. This is only their second ever tag team match ever. Thursday Night on Impact was their first. This was their second, taking on the System, Brian Myers, Eddie Edwards. Alisha was at ringside. Moose ended up coming out at ringside, and then we had Dirty Dango show up. Alisha Edwards got involved, and Dirty Dango comes out. His return to TNA, he comes out and gets the referee to see what Alisha Edwards was doing, gets Alisha Edwards kicked out, and then Dirty Dango ends up pulling the ref out when the Nemeth brothers, or when the system was trying to get the pin. Moose ended up, it was Moose and him standing there, and they kind of pointed at each other like the camera never saw it, but they kind of, one of the two did it. Dango ended up hitting Nemeth, or hitting, I thought he hit Nemeth there. But he hit one of them, and it's just like, Dirty Dango ended up hitting Nick Nemeth. Dirty Dango ended up, at the end, helping the system win. Come to find out, Dirty Dango is part of the system with Moose, Brian Myers, Eddie Edwards, Alisha Edwards, and now Dirty Dango. I ended up giving that tag match 2 3/4 star with the system retaining their tag titles. Next up, we had Frankie Kazarian taking on Joe Hendry. This, the PCO match, these could have been matches on Impact. These did not need to be on a premium live event. You need to save those premium live event matches for special stuff. These matches just felt like a big Impact match, not even a big match. Frankie Kazarian versus Joe Hendry. If you say his name, he will appear. I'm actually a Joe Hendry fan, so I've always thought he's hell talented. Right before the COVID shutdown, he actually signed a Ring of Honor, and I thought that was going to be huge for him. And then COVID fucked it all up. It fucked up a lot of things. But yeah, I think his career is taking a nosedives because of COVID, which sucks. He was huge over in Europe, in the UK scene. But taking on Frankie Kazarian here. Nothing special with this match, kind of just a blah match. I ended up giving it 2 3/4 star with Frankie Kazarian getting the victory. Next up, we had the TNA X Division Championship on the line. Match of the night. Second best match of the night. Champion Mustafa Ali taking on Trent 7. Mustafa has became this kind of, I don't know, he goes everywhere. He's kind of like the running for president kind of deal. Trying to make TNA great again. Kind of defending the X Division. The X Division is all about no limits, and he's trying to put limits on things. And he's had a couple promos where they had a sit-down interview with Tom Hamlin did, and he ended up walking out. He didn't like the questions. And Trent 7, he's been teaming up with Speedball Mike Bailey. They actually had another contender match on Impact, which was pretty damn good match. Trent ended up winning. The fact that's how I get this title shot here. This match, really good. Both these guys are so talented. Mustafa Ali has been known to take the title and win matches with it and hit his opponent with it behind the referee's back. He tried that. The ref saw it. Trent 7 low blowed him. The referee didn't see it. Unfortunately, he did not get the pin from that, which I kind of wish he would have, but he didn't, and so he ended up kicking out. And then the match kind of went on a little bit. I ended up giving it 3.5. So it was a super good, hard-hitting match. Both guys did an extremely good job on this match. I like the character that Mustafa Ali is. I hope Ricochet does something similar when he gets back to the Indies. But still, your TNA TNA X Division champion Mustafa Ali. Again, 3.5 star on that. The next match was the match of the night for me. Tag team match. We had EY and Eric Young and Josh Alexander taking on ABC Ace Austin and Chris Bay. Holy hell, what a hard-hitting match this was. These 4 guys are so talented. Eric Young, from the beginning of TNA original. Josh Alexander made his name for himself as a tag team champion, the longest reigning world champion in TNA history. They tore the house down with this match. I ended up giving it 3.5, 3 3/4. Excuse me, 3 3/4. there was one spot which Josh Alexander grabbed Chris Bay by the man parts, by his penis, and just sitting there holding it. It just I'm like, oh my god, this is dumb. But it's like it was so dumb it was funny kind of deal. But then we had ABC at the end get the victory. Again, 3 3/4 star, 18-minute match, great match of the night there. Next up, we had the TNA Knockout World Title line. We had champion Jordynne Grace, her open challenge. Who's going to accept the open challenge? Tatum Paxley. All right, people. A working relationship means Tetsuya Naito goes to AEW, the New Japan Pro Wrestling World Heavyweight Champion, or former WGP World Heavyweight Champion. When Shingo Takagi from New Japan Pro Wrestling shows up on Dynamite. When Jon Moxley, Bryan Danielson show up at Wrestle Kingdom. That is a true forbidden door. When your Tier 1 talent goes from show to show to show. When Bryan Danielson shows up at the CMLL show. When Will Ospreay, under New Japan Pro Wrestling contract, shows up on AEW. That is the true forbidden door. Your 4th level women's talent, Tatum Paxley, who barely wrestles, showing up on TNA, isn't exactly the forbidden door. That's a here's a crumb deal. Her last TV match, she lost in the women's North American qualifying match to Maclin. Let's see. She beat Layla Diggs on a house show. She beat Stevie Turner on a house show. She lost on the show there for her. She's lost an NXT live event to the Roxanne Perez. Oh, she beat Layla Diggs again. She lost at a house show to Roxanne Perez. She lost in a triple threat match on Spring Breakin'. She lost in a house show. Oh, she beat Thea Hale on NXT. On Level Up, she beat Brenly Reese. This isn't exactly a Tier 1 talent, folks. This is NXT going, here's a crumb. She works for us. You can have her for the night. If you would have sent Lila Bakiri, if you would have sent, I don't know, Roxanne Perez, Thea Hale, any of these people besides a third-rate, Nikita Lyons would have been awesome. I think she's hurt actually again. But you send Tatum Paxley. Come on, people. That is not the level of a Bryan Danielson or a Tetsuya Naito or a David Finlay or a Moxley or Shingo Takagi. Insert New Japan name to AEW and vice versa. This isn't the same thing, people. This is just WWE going, here you go. We took your Tier 1 women's talent and we give you a NXT level up wrestler. Come on, people. This is like the Yankees giving Aaron Judge to the Royals for their AAA guy. That's what this is amount to. Anyway, 11-minute match. Wasn't horrible. Jordynne Grace is fantastic. I ended up giving it 3-star. Jordynne Grace retaining her TNA Knockout title. When I see a Becky Lynch, when I see a Roxanne Perez go to TNA, then I'll be like, okay, there is a deal going on here. You see higher level NXT talents going to Reality of Wrestling. We've seen Roxanne Perez wrestle this year on Reality of Wrestling. We've seen Duke Hudson, Javier, whatever his name is, from NXT on Reality of Wrestling. But we can't send the Tier 1 women's talent. Damn. Anyway, 3-star match, Jordynne Grace retaining her title. Then the main event, we had the TNA World Title line in a broken rules match. So literally a hardcore match. On TNA Impact this week, we had the System show up at the Hardy compound. You had Cena Benjamin. God, I love Cena Benjamin. Vanguard 1 was back. It looks like he got fixed up because the last time we saw Vanguard 1, he got exploded. We had Lord Wolfgang, who turned Eddie Wolf into the American Wolf, or Eddie Edwards in the American Wolf. He goes, didn't you used to be a wolf? That was a lifetime ago. He turns him into a wolf. Gotta love Lord Wolfgang. We had, what else did we have? We had all the Hardy kids getting involved. We had Mrs. Hardy getting involved. It was actually pretty cool. Going to the chair of wheels. Shit. The mower lawn. We didn't have that. We had so the Hardy compound is always all kinds of fun. So we had them kind of freaked out. So we had Moose and Matt Hardy in a no disqualification match. So basically they fought into the crowd. We had some chairs out there. We had a door out there. We had a ladder out there. We had Moose laying on the ladder. Almost broke the ladder. We had trash cans. Yeah, we had that. I mean, it was just, yeah. The end was really funky at the very, very end. Alisha Edwards comes out. During the match, mind you, Alisha Edwards comes out. And then Rebecca Hardy comes out and attacks Alisha Edwards. And then we had Hendry come out. Now, mind you, Jeff Hardy, his contract is up with AEW, and that was known before the show. And so, as all this is happening at the end, after Moose beat Matt Hardy, of course, I didn't give it a 2 3/4 star. Finally, we have Jeff Hardy come out, take out Moose, take out Brian Myers, Hardy Boys standing in the ring together. And then at the end, as it goes off the air, we have the Nemeth brothers, Nick Nemeth, Ryan Nemeth, Jeff and Matt Hardy, Joe Hendry, Queen Rebecca, all in the ring. The System leaving. So mind you, we have 5, right? And a women, so we have 6 total in the ring now. We had Moose. We had Dirty Dango. We have Eddie Edwards. We have Dirty Dango, so Moose, Dirty Dango, Brian Myers, Eddie Edwards, and Alisha Edwards. So we just need one more for the System to have a 6-on-6 or 5-on-5 men's, leave the women out of it. So I think that's coming. I think we're going to do some big kind of War Games-ish thing eventually with this kind of faction, almost friendship faction we have versus the System. We know that's coming. Probably Jeff Hardy at the next show will probably get a title shot. We'll see what happens with that. But yeah, so we have some storylines coming out to see what happens. What is Kushida going to find out from the black goop that comes out of Gresham? See Maclin, Mike Santana, they're going to stay a tag team. What happens with Alisha Edwards and Masha Slamovich? Are they together, not together? They're women's knockout title champions. Do we get PCO versus AJ Francis? Dirty Dango, part of the System. How involved in the System is he going to be? Mustafa Ali, still your X Division champion. Who's his next challenger? What happens with ABC? Because they've been kind of having some problems. They actually had a feud between each of them together fighting. They're kind of back on the same page. Are they going to go for the tag titles? They have a tag title rematch in their clause, so they still have that. They're going to go after the System. What's next for Jordynne Grace? Do we bring in? Does she go back to TNA or NXT again? Is that done? Do they send somebody else, maybe a better talent? Who's going to challenge Moose at the next show? Is it Jeff Hardy? Joe Hendry? Who is it? Nick Nemeth maybe? So yeah, a lot of questions going forward. A lot of stories that we can kind of find a home for and go with. But that is TNA Against All Odds. Stay tuned to Robert Sports Show. We'll get Clash at the Castle Web sometime today or tomorrow. A couple 3G CW shows this weekend. So a lot going on. So definitely check back here as we get videos uploaded. Thanks for watching Robert Sports Show. From the independent scene to the main event of WrestleMania. Robert Sports Show. Don't just have a great day. Have a spiffy day. Robert Sports Show, your YouTube leader. Sports Channel content.